Friday, July 26th, as I'm recording this, wanted to talk about treating others with respect in the law firm. Now, when I do a YouTube video, I have to change up the title sometime. And I would have loved to have put that title in there, but sometimes I can't do it exactly that way because of the platform I'm putting the video on. But let's talk about 8 different things, 8 different occurrences as to getting along, period, in the law firm. And I'll talk about some of the things I've experienced, okay? I'm going to put my glasses on. I'm off today, so I'm in like ultra casual clothes. Going in as a new employee can be dicey sometimes because the person that you are replacing, it might not be a brand new position. It might be somebody's left. You don't know the circumstances. And so you go in very blind about what went on before, right? Because no one's going to tell you in the interview, not usually. And I've gone in where, in my second job, where the person that left, and I believe it was of her own accord because I think she didn't get a raise, the raise that she wanted. She left, and then her best friend was still in the law firm working for one of the other partners. So thank goodness our work did not overlap. But she told me, she was reading me the riot act the first day I was there. She was so angry. But she was, that's really out of line to do that and take it out on a new employee who had no idea what transpired before or what the issues were. It isn't the new employee's problem. And the problem isn't with that employee, it's with management, and that you have to go talk to them then. And so I've faced that at least, I think, 3 times where I've been the new person on the block, and then people were upset that the former person was replaced. So the new employee sometimes faces that. They're not going to tell you that in an interview. However, there are some really good questions you can ask, and this, going through some of these things, made me a better interviewee. And one of the modules I have in my course, Paralegal Inner Circle course, is I have several videos about questions that will be asked of you and different things in the interview, but questions that you should ask. And I have 3 people who've gone on interviews in the last, 2-3 weeks or so, and they said that module was incredible to prepare them, and the attorneys were dumbstruck because they asked so many questions. It's really important to ask enough questions to know what's coming down the pike. What are you getting into? What really happened? Now sometimes you won't be told the truth, and they won't acknowledge that there was an issue or something, and they don't want that to keep going. They want to shut it down. I understand that, and I understand why, most of the time. But new employees, and I'm saying this to people who are currently in the field, cut the new employees some slack so that they're not facing the wrath of their coworkers for no reason. So be careful with that. Number 2, this goes with the new employee, that you replaced, as the new employee, you replaced someone that they totally adored and wished they were still there. And I have faced that in Oklahoma and Tallahassee. So it isn't, again, I can't stress this enough, it's not the new employee's fault. Number 3, you are avoided, or you avoid a coworker because of age. It could be you feel they're too young and naive, and so you can't relate to them, so you don't talk to them much, you avoid them. And then it could be that you're avoiding an employee a fellow coworker because they're too old and you can't relate to them. That's ridiculous because both parties are bringing something pretty great to the table most of the time, and it's better not to go down that assumption route and you're thinking they're such old fogies or they're too young to know anything. It's a bit of a waste of time, and everybody's bringing something good to the table. We'll talk about that more down the list here. Number 4, you've got a group of people who are moms or dads, and you have a single person, you have married versus unmarried. Whatever it is, the tolerance is not there for the differences. And that won't make for a unit that works well together. That won't make for great teamwork. So what is it that you're afraid of? What is it that you can't relate to? If you're married, you were single once, you can relate to that. And if you have kids or don't have kids, you might have nieces or nephews. So what's so bizarre about that? It's good to not get a group of people who are married and have kids and all they talk about are their kids. And it leaves the single person or person who doesn't have children out of it. So you've got to find some topics to talk about. If you're having lunch together, that brings everybody in and doesn't shut other people out. Okay. Number 5, skill sets are different between age groups, between, what jobs you've held, right? Everybody has gifts. So when I get a phone call and the client has a long story to tell me, a new client, they want to give me the facts, I am taking down that data verbatim, word for word. How am I doing that? Because when I went to high school, I took 3 years of steno, shorthand. So then came the dictaphone right after that, right after I graduated. And so everybody started using the dictaphone. Not right away, because it wasn't a perfect science yet, and not everybody could afford to buy the machine. And then eventually that it all changed and stayed that way for a long time. But I still used steno, the shorthand, in every job I've ever had because I can take down the data. And but now we can actually have the phone up to our ear and just type in the information as the person's talking. So yeah, shorthand is like, whoa, what the heck is that? The younger people. Everybody should be respected for the skill sets they're bringing. I may be an older person, but I'm a real techie woman. So they have an assumption that because I'm older, that I don't know how to do some techie things because their moms don't, their dads don't, so I probably don't either. No, that's not true, because the website that you go to, I built, and I like that kind of thing. So the assumption, people are like, whoa, they're like, why would you think I couldn't do that? And my mentor was my age, and she was building her own websites and doing things, making her own courses and stuff. Well, she inspired me. And that age, whether you're young or you're in the middle or you're older, don't put those boundaries around people that they aren't capable of doing that. And don't ostracize people because of age, whether younger or older. Okay, so let's go to 6, education. This is a big one. Education versus no education. I've got into a paralegal association meeting. I did their website. I did their newsletter for them. But I couldn't hold a position on the board because I didn't have my the degree in paralegal studies. And so those were the bylaws that stated that. I had no desire to be on the board, but they always needed fresh people on the board, that hadn't, because people would get burnt out. but I couldn't hold a position on the board. I wasn't insulted by that. I was able to participate and give to the association by the techie things I knew how to do and I could write. So that's how I contributed. That was not, what didn't bother me, but when you go into a paralegal job and there are people there who have degrees and you don't, that should never be held over your head. I was told in my first job that it would take me 10 years to be a paralegal. It took me 7 months. Now, does that mean I had arrived, I knew everything? No. I would say it took 3 to 4 years before I felt that I was arriving. And it's not that you arrived, it's you're always learning. Sorry if you hear this rain, the storms, the afternoon storms have arrived. Oh, hang on, guys. The phone decided to collapse. Not the first time it's done that either in my videoing career here. Okay. So let me see if we can, okay, hold on. Sorry if that shocked you. So let's go to the next one. Respect. Think of Aretha Franklin, RESPECT. Education, none. As long as you can do the job, you got this. And if you're coming into a law firm without education, or you're coming in with education, you have a heck of a lot to learn because you have not arrived. Oh, it's going to be loud. Number 7, clothing differences. How I dress is not how somebody in their 20s is going to dress, correct? So the mocking of that is out of line. You wouldn't want me to dress like that. That would be a bit ludicrous, but I don't dress like my mom did. I never wanted to do that, and she didn't want to dress like her mom. So it's really ridiculous to get caught up in all that stuff. But it's like junior high sometimes in workplaces. You and I both know it, but what I want you to do is to divorce yourself from it if you see that and not become part of it. The best thing to do is to keep communication open and get to know each other, because that's when the walls come down. And eating together is always usually a good thing. All right, so number 8, assumptions regarding titles. We can think we've arrived because we got a paralegal title, and then we look down on legal secretaries. I've heard that so many times. Oh, well, that, she's a legal secretary. And they would go like, brushing it off. Legal secretaries they will be doing paralegal work and not have a title. So let's get real about that. It isn't that in a box. The titles and what you do are not encapsulated in this tight little box. It comes out, and between legal secretaries, legal assistants, let me get this straight here. Legal assistants and paralegals are the same. Okay? Legal secretaries can sometimes be the same, do the same thing, same duties as a paralegal. It's just that their attorney doesn't call them a paralegal. So understand that this isn't a little tight career in a box, that you will be doing secretarial work as a paralegal. Okay, so open your mind to that. When we're not in the field, we make assumptions because we don't know any better, as newbies, that it must be cut and dry and very logical separation. No, it's not. And legal receptionists are to be revered for what they do and how they answer the phone and all that they do at the front desk and all they have to handle. Because if you are asked to pinch hit and substitute and answer the phones, you will find out very quickly that that's not an easy job. So the first job I took, I did the receptionist duties, the secretarial duties, and running errands, the file clerk, all of it. So phones were heavy. So I did that as well, and trying to get the work done in the middle of the phone calls coming in. The receptionists are unsung heroes, as are paralegals and as are legal secretaries. So there should be an honor and a respect towards each of those positions, and sometimes they overlap greatly. I don't want you to think it's this tight box of they do this and they do this and they do this. We've had where my husband managed a law firm at one point, actually several, and one of them, the receptionist, would do a lot of correspondence for the paralegals, and they did a bang up job, and then the attorney would watch to see how good they were and would promote from that position and promote into a paralegal position. So it's that important, and it gives them an idea of who this person is as well. It's a smart way to do it. All right, so those are just 8 areas where there always needs to be improvement in the law firm. Communication will open those closed doors, those walls people erect. Some people will act like an island, and it's kind of fun to break down that wall a little bit to talk. When I joined one law firm, the 2 legal secretaries there would not give myself and the other new paralegal the time of day, but over about a 6-month period, those walls came tumbling down. We ate together, we helped each other. They saw we weren't prima donnas and got over that hump. So totally needed. It's not I don't want to work in an environment where people are mad at each other, and there's seriously no reason for that. But the way you interview, how you interview is very important, so you can head off a lot of these angst-ridden moments. Okay, the questions that you ask in the interview, very important. So September 15th is the next launch and the final launch for 2019 for the Paralegal Inner Circle class, so be aware of that. And let's see what else. If this is your first look or you're new to this career, be sure you grab my book, Legal Break-In, from Amazon. That's the first step. The second step is be sure that you visit my website, paralegalcoffeetalk.com, and look around the top menu and get the some things up there. Enroll in the free webinar that's noted up at the top, and then make sure you get the list of 19 alternative paralegal careers. Just go to paralegalcoffeetalk.com and look up at the top in the menu bar and check some of that stuff out. Also, if you're interested in getting on the wait list for the Paralegal Inner Circle class, then go to the website and go to Paralegal Inner Circle class info. You can read testimonials right under that. There's a separate page for that. But you can go to the first page I mentioned, Paralegal Inner Circle class info, and get on the wait list. You can read testimonials there as well, and read all of them and see what people are saying, okay? All right, so have a great Friday night. Thank you for being here with me live, and also anybody watching on replay, thank you. As a paralegal that you want to share in the comments, please do so. It's very helpful. But what I love to hear are what are the solutions that were put in place to make it a better workplace. I love hearing those. It helps other people when you share that, not to just gripe, but to say what we did to solve it. Love hearing that. All right, have a great day, and I will talk to you possibly over the weekend. And I'm not sure what day, but I'll just pop in here, and then enjoy the weekend, do something for you, take some time for yourself. Thanks for being here. Bye.